Hello everyone, welcome back to Sterlingshire Homestead. So you can see our water tote over there. It's like 90% full. We've got enough rain this year that we're going to upgrade some systems. And one of the things we're going to upgrade here, I took out the board that was sitting where the shower was and I pulled the tarp off. The tarp was our surface initially, and the board gave us the stability, and we're upgrading here. We're finally tapping into some of the used deck boards that we bought for 800 bucks. And so what I did, see, some of them got some rough spots in them, but it's okay. This is just structural at this point. Cosmetic, I can sand all this. But I've got the floor, and I basically took the 2x12s that existed, some of the smaller ones, 8 foot and less. So I've got an 8 foot length here on these, and then this width is about 5 feet, a little more than 5 feet. And what we're doing is I've got these struts here and all these boards all framed up, and I cut 2x12s lengthwise to get 2x6s. Technically there's a little bit more than a 2x6 that's sitting there, but it's okay because it all frames up the same way. You can still use 2x6 joist hangers if you want to use that, and if you're new to the construction and this is something you want to do as a DIY, you get joist hangers for the type of board you're using, so 2x6 joist hangers, and then you're getting hot dip galvanized joist nails, 1.5 inches. That's the cheap ones that are grip fast. And everything else, I bought a full, I don't want to say 25-pound bucket of 3-inch triple gold deck screws. And the deck screws are what's going to hold the structural stuff together here, because this isn't doing anything other than supporting basically our privacy screens. Because the idea is, with our walking path that comes through here, we're going to block this off, so as you're standing up on it, so I'll jump on it here, because it's strong enough to hold me, no problem. So as you're standing here, let's say the deck's already on it, from where I'm standing, we want it to block off to about where your neck is. So you can still see over everything, but nobody can see in here, because they're much further below you, because they're down another 6 inches on the ground. So we're going to go to where our neck is, and all of this other stuff will be covered. And so that way, if you want to shower in here, we'll probably have a door that slides open here. And my wife actually went to Maddie, grabbed some glass doors that were from an interior build. And we're thinking about putting the door on this side. It'll swing open and then close up with a little bit of a latch. But what we'll do is we'll take those 2x12s, we've got a bunch of them yet, and we'll use those as the deck boards for this. And that's the reason why these are spaced so far apart. These are 32 inches apart, or 32 inches on center, which is double 16. That's pretty far apart, but the good thing is, because we're using 2x4 sheeting, or 2x10, actually 2x12 sheeting, the extra 2x thickness is going to make this deck as strong as a regular deck if it was on 16 centers. So we'll do that, and then I figured we've got that extra roof steel, and what we'll do is we'll put a board across the middle where we want the height to be for all this, and then use that roofing steel to cover that section so that it'll all be covered and we won't have to worry about where things are going to sit. The only thing that's weird about this is potentially getting in here where this gap is, because we're going to have to eventually close this off, and the shower head will eventually come up. We'll put a board here and the shower will shoot down into that. Let me back this out, give you guys a little bit better perspective. So that's what's up. We're gonna take care of that. We were using all the tools today, and it's an upgrade from what we were at. It'll still be run on a hose, and we'll still probably have that same nozzle. But what we're thinking about doing is we bought a splitter, or a hose Y, I should say. So it splits one channel, and it splits it off into 2 channels. And what we'll do is have one channel for the shower head here, and we'll have another channel with like a little 5-foot hose that's like on a sprayer, so you can like spray yourself off wherever you'd like to spray yourself. But we've got everything cut out. All we've got to do now is put our 8-foot pieces across the top here. We'll connect those together. We'll connect these together, and then we'll have to cut one more set here to brace this along the top to connect these and make them all connected on the top. But I think it'll work out just fine. And the other thing I was thinking about here too if in the winter we wanted this to be roofed in to store some other things, my thought was, well, let's make these a little bit higher on this side. And as we put this board on to go across, we'll put one that's just a little bit higher on this far side towards the container, and it'll drip off towards here to where the outside of this section is, and I can snowplow that away. But that's what's up. So to go from a piece of really old treated plywood that's rotting out with a tarp on it and that spray nozzle, or to go from a full-size 8x5 shower deck using 2x12 floor boards. So it'll be interesting to cut some of this stuff out, but I think once we get there, it'll be really nice looking. So we will see in a bit. We're going to get a little further along, and I'll show you the progress here. Okay, welcome back for a short intermission here. I'm going to show you guys what I got done on day 2. But like, look at that. Sorry for the shaky camera work. But, whoops, come on phone. See that deer downfield? Don't know what kind it is, but hey. Looks nice. There's another one down too. Where's the second one? Yeah, it's kind of sitting by the post. You guys can't see it. But if he had a rifle, 300 yards. Nah, not quite. 200. That's pretty close, about 200. Double football field. That's pretty, yeah, that's probably pretty close. But just munching away. Anyway, so we're doing an experiment here. I'm trying to figure out how to put in a brace on the back side of my structure to shore it up. And I was testing to see if a hex key fit into a star drive. This is the tightest one I've got. Will bore in to the wood, and it went all the way through. So it's looking like it will without any problems, without stripping anything. So now the question here, I'm going to show you guys what I got done on day 2. But the question here is, can I put a brace on the back portion of this to make this a little bit stronger and sturdier, and not use power tools because there's no room. Let me give you the look. So, ta-da! The deck's finished. I just got to chop off the boards on the end here, make them all even. I'm probably going to make them even with this short one. But we've got the structure up, and basically what we did was I took another post off of the center. I actually measured out a little bit more than 48 inches, so the shower's going to be 4x5. That's a pretty big shower. And what we'll do, this is what I'm trying to do, it's sturdy this way, like to and from the container, it's sturdy. But going left and right, you give it a little bit of a kick and it's still moving. The front is much more secure because I put a beam up here that sort of acts as a triangle. So this front section is much more sturdy than the back. But I want to put this 2x6 in, and the question here is, can I use this hex key? And it's looking like probably not. See that? To be able to turn this, or at least turn a screw in from the back side of this. If I can, see, it'd be real close. It'd be real close. And the thing is, you'd kind of have to know where you want to start it before you do it. But it's looking like we might be able to get away with that. I don't 100% know. So that's what I'm trying to figure out right now, is how to attach basically this beam, this 2x6, at an angle, either this way or this way, it doesn't matter, and staying on the outside of this. I want this to be on the outside of this board rather than on the inside, because that takes up more space. And the problem is, with where I want this particular shelter to be, we want it up against the container, because if we ever move it, we're going to put it up against the house and use it up against the house. So I don't think we're going to move it though, and so if that's the case, we want it to butt the sheet metal right up against the top of the container there. I don't know that I'm going to cut out the little divots or anything, but we're going to go so it almost touches right here. So we'll get rid of that gap and we'll make the sheet metal come all the way up. That means it'll basically be a waterproof wall because the shipping container's already here. But the downside to that is that, let me zoom out there. The downside to that is I can't get this piece in here. And the way I did this, with all the weight already on here, I don't think I can move it anymore. So I'm trying to come up with a solution. We'll find one eventually. The worst thing I can think of here is maybe to put a little extension on this and come out and then drill into the side of this, but I don't know how sturdy that would be. But we'll figure something out. I'm thinking that this hex key thing might have something to it. I might just have to figure out a way here. But that's what we're looking at. Even if it was a 1x4 on the back, I think that's all the more you'd need to make it a little more stable. And I know we could get away with a 1x4 and a hex key. Anyway, so day 2. We finished up the deck. Some finagling. A couple of these boards are curved because they were cut. And there's a little bit of a bigger gap there. It's not that big though. I would say it's maybe the size of the head of the screw here. Like if we went down and we put one next to the other, you can kind of see that. It's not that large, but it's enough that it'll keep most of the things from going down in there, and that's what we want to try and avoid. Thankfully, with how this is set up, we have the ability, because this is off the ground, if something falls in there, we can actually get our hand back. There. We should be able to get our hand back there if something falls or hits or something happens, which is good. But the structure is pretty much set. The only thing I've got to do now for day 3 is put our sheet metal pieces on. These will take care of the long sides. This short side on the back doesn't need any. And then the third thing we're going to do is we found some cheap, well, free, I should say, glass doors on Facebook Marketplace. And we're going to put one of those on the front here. And we'll probably put it on this side and I'll have it swing open. It is a 25-inch door, so I'll probably have about a 24-inch opening there, but that'll be plenty. And that'll be your way in. For those of you who don't know, that's about to this board, to this little tiny board, to the outside edge of that. But that way we can get in, and I've got a little track here that this will be sitting on because it'll be covered from the rain. That should work out. And then this will slide over, and then this whole section here, all the way down, will be a wall, probably the same thing of sheet metal of some sort. But that's what we got. That's project for day 3. So thanks for watching so far. We'll come back to you in a little bit and we'll show you something closer to the finished product here. Okay, day 3, welcome back. We got one of the sides put on and the roof is on, and it looks quite lovely. Still working on the door. We got the pieces off the top, but from the inside looks quite nice, and the overhang goes nice and far out, so if it's raining you can kind of open it up and see what's going on. But some of the features we added: some cross bracing here that makes it much sturdier, and I added one more brace here. It's probably the biggest one, but instead of it being so wobbly now, you can push on it a little bit and it's much sturdier. The shaking and wobbling is the whole structure now, not just the top, which is good. So we'll add a couple more supports and structure bits in as we go. We're gonna have to put a wall in here at some point to cover all this up. And we'll probably put a 2x4 wall, and we'll connect it to this, I bet. Sorry, up here, because this is the 26-inch line for the door. So we'll probably connect to this piece and go all the way up. But that's for a later date. This is the last little bit we're doing on day 3. And hopefully this is done by day 4 or 5. It should be pretty close. I've got all the sheet metal cut for that already too. So it's really just a matter of assembling parts and getting things the way we want. But it's looking kind of nice. There's mud on all of our panels, but we'll take care of that. It'll eventually look like this stuff in the bottom left corner. I washed off that little section. But that's what we got. The top section here will be left open so people can see out, and then it'll be your outdoor shower. And then the back side where it opens up there, that's going to be closed off. So we'll have some spots we can put towels and things. Well, see you in a few. Hopefully we'll get a little bit more done tomorrow. All right, door is in, sides are on. We made this side a complete block out, minus a little bit for a wind gap on the top. But the overhang here is so nice. Let me get this up in here. The overhang is so far out on that there's no way water's going to get in on this side, and that's the point. So if there's ever any wind or heavy rain or anything, this side closest to the actual shower head. The shower head's going to be over here on this side, probably on this wall, and it'll sit nice and high up here. That's about 7.5 feet there. That'll sit high, and then we're going to put another wall, kind of like this one. This is our partial wall for the door, but I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. I'll probably only come out to probably this second board, and that way we have a wall that is waterproof, and we'll go most of the way up. We'll probably go up to about here. We'll go most of the way up, and that way we'll have a corner here on the changing side. The wall will sit right about here, and we'll have a corner here on the changing side that we can hang towels up that'll be protected from the rain, because that's a good 5-foot overhang. It's not going to come in far enough to get anything wet that far in the building. So very excellent. Maddie was telling me that she's 5'4", and what she can see when she's in here is about this. So she can see the peak of the shed, but the rest of this, about there, is just beautiful views all the way out here. Lush green oak trees, and lots of times birds like hanging out on these with the dead branches. From where my height is, I can see about this, and I'm 6 foot. A little over 6 foot, I'd say 6.5. Not to exaggerate, but that's what I can see. And that's my eye level, of course. So if you're a taller lady perhaps, and you don't want to be seen from out here, the other advantage to this is, unless somebody is over on the deck over here, nobody's going to see your top half, because this is up a little bit over 5 feet. This is up 5 foot 4 inches. So basically that's everybody's head height, and then everything down is occluded from vision. So that's what we're looking at. Very beautiful build. Let me take you on the outside here. This wall is kind of temporarily put in. We're trying to figure out, there's some squaring I need to do on this top bit. You can see the crack there, but that when I push on this, that crack starts to go away. And when we put the screws into this all the way, I have them temporarily in. You can see that. When I put them in all the way, it's going to suck that board all the way in too. The other thing that's a little wonky here is that this door isn't perfectly straight. That's an easy hardware fix. I just got to take off the mounting brackets, and not all the way. I'll just take out the 2 screws here, and then with this screw I'll pull down on the door to make it flush and level. But that's what we got going, and when we open this up, we hop outside, and the way this opens and closes, it works really well. We've got a little track here, and it's an indoor track, but again, it's not going to be hit by rain. It's way the heck up in the roof, and if it does get hit by rain, then it is what it is, I suppose. So this is from the outside what we've got going on. A lot of mud on the panels yet because it hasn't rained, but that is a real nice, whoops, I almost tripped on the plywood. That is a real nice shower. Real nice shower. The only reason it didn't cost us anything is because we had the sheet metal on hand, and we had some deck boards that were reclaimed that I sawed up into 2x4s. So overall, I think if you did this project with new material, I'd say you're looking at about somewhere in the neighborhood of probably $700-800 would be a rough estimate. Mostly because this flooring made out of 2x12s would be pretty expensive. They're treated 2x12. But the other boards aren't too bad. So that's what we got. I will give you guys some more info when we're done. We are on day 4 of the build. We will see you in a little bit. Hopefully we'll get all the other issues resolved. And you can hear we have a tree frog hanging out over yonder. All right, see you in a few. Well, we're not done quite yet, but time for the inaugural run. Working great so far. The pump is really loud though. I have to get a quieter one. But that'll work great. I don't have the wall installed yet. This one's still temporary, but for now it's working great. So for those of you who like what we do here, please consider liking and subscribing on our video. And until next time, this is Isaac from Sterlingshire Homestead, here with the outdoor shower build. I'll give you some more tips and tricks on this in a coming video when I get the whole thing complete. Till next time, see you around.